Daisy cottage cheese will do. Only Daisy cottage cheese will do. So creamy and delicious. Only Daisy cottage cheese.
If you have Graves' disease and your eyes feel dry and sandy, don't just grit through it. People with Graves could also have a different condition called thyroid eye disease, which needs different treatment. Find a TED eye specialist at isitted.com.
I'm trying to deliver for you, okay?
Trust us, he does. Join us Monday for our Top Gun Takeover.
Yeah, we'll be coming to you from the USS Midway in San Diego with all the behind-the-scenes secrets from the sequel, and we're taking you back to the original. It's a great show.
Yeah, we're in the danger zone, y'all, and it's
happening now.
Texas stepping up to help Uvalde during this time of need. Today, the governor revealing the state's response to help those affected by the mass shooting at Robb Elementary. Next.
For over 40 minutes, Robb Elementary students were stuck inside a locked classroom with the gunman. We go over that detailed timeline to what exactly happened that tragic day.
And the unofficial start of summer is going to feel very summer-like. I'll be back to talk about how hot it's going to get and what little bit of relief we'll have into the weekend coming right up. The News at 5 starts right now.
First at 5, all 19 victims in the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School have been identified. Each victim now has a name and a face that we will remember always. Not one single child killed was over the age of 11.
Right now, each of those victims has a memorial, a white cross set up in Uvalde's town square. If you notice, each has a name, one cross for each of the victims. And throughout downtown Uvalde, there are candles and flowers, businesses showing their support by writing Uvalde Strong on the windows.
And happening right now, protests going on outside of the NRA convention in Houston. This is what those demonstrations looked like earlier. One of the demonstrators, Democratic gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke.
Many high-profile Republicans expected to attend the NRA conference. Governor Greg Abbott was supposed to attend, but instead sent a pre-recorded message. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick also skipping today's event. Governor Greg Abbott just wrapping up another news conference in Uvalde less than an hour ago. The focus on the resources available to the families affected by the shooting. That was supposed to be the focus. But attention quickly turned to the timeline of the shooting outlined by Texas DPS.
As soon as he began to take questions, the news conference took a turn, getting heated at times. Our John Paul Barajas is live in Uvalde to break it down for us. John Paul?
Ursula, Steve, as you guys mentioned, it was about the resources that he's brought in. And some of that included all the funeral expenses being paid for, counselors for those grieving, insurance claims being processed faster, workman's comp. But they took a turn during the Q&A with so many questions revolving around the timeline of that mass shooting and how long it took law enforcement officials to get in those classroom doors. Governor Abbott said, in quote, he was livid that he was misled by law enforcement.
There are people who deserve answers the most, and those are the families whose lives have been destroyed. They need answers that are accurate, and it is inexcusable that they may have suffered from any inaccurate information whatsoever. And it is imperative that the leaders of the investigations about exactly what happened get down to the very second of exactly what happened with 100% accuracy and explain it to the public, but most importantly, to the victims who've been devastated.
He urged the Texas Rangers and the FBI to get to the bottom of why officers stood down and waited for backup when officials say in hindsight that should have never been the case. As for his stance on any new gun laws, the governor mentioned mental health quite a few times, urging people who need help to call helplines that are 24/7. He made no comment directly about upping the age limit for guns or if AR-15 should be legal for civilians. But he did say the current status quo is unacceptable. And this is the second time this week the governor's press conference has been interrupted, this time by Senator Roland Gutierrez, who presides over Uvalde. He approached the governor asking him and urging him to hold a special session so he could change or they could make changes to the current gun system. There was not a clear answer on that. We'll be hearing from that senator coming up at 6. In Uvalde, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Thanks so much. Now, again, during that news conference, the governor angry, echoing some of the frustration that family members in Uvalde are showing. It's because he and we learned just today that for more than an hour, those young students were trapped in a room with a murderous gunman.
Yeah, a clearer timeline of events was given by DPS, and that clarity points to a series of missteps and missed opportunities by police. It's something we actually alluded to last night on the Night Beat. Erica Hernandez joins us for a detailed look at the timeline, showing what exactly was and wasn't taking place as this rampage ensued.
Surveillance video from Robb Elementary School shows a teacher propping open a side door of the building. 18-year-old Salvador Ramos crashes his pickup truck into a ditch behind the campus after shooting his grandmother in the face at their home. He gets out of the truck and begins shooting at two men who were walking toward the crash. Neither person was hit as they ran into a nearby funeral home. Ramos then begins walking towards the school. A 911 call is made that there was a crash and there was a man with a gun shooting. Ramos has reached the parking lot of the school and waits behind cars as a UCISD police officer drives by. That officer did not see Ramos. After that, Ramos begins shooting at the school from the outside. The teacher re-enters the school in a panic to call 911, but the door remained propped open. Ramos enters the school and makes his way to rooms 111 and 112 and begins shooting. At this time, the gunman has shot more than 100 rounds.
When he went in the classroom, he said, "You're all gonna die," and he just started shooting people.
3 Uvalde police officers entered the same door as the suspect and are later followed by 3 more UPD officers and a Uvalde Sheriff Office deputy. At this point, there are 7 officers inside. The first 3 make their way to the classroom doors and the suspect begins shooting through the door. 2 officers are hit. More gunfire is heard during this time. 16 rounds were fired. More authorities have reached the school at this time. The first 911 call from inside room 112 was made by a student. That minute 23-second call, she whispers who she is and which room she's in. That same student calls 911 again and says multiple people are dead inside room 112. Student calls again from room 112. Border Patrol tactical members begin to arrive at the scene. The student inside room 112 calls 911 for the 4th time and says 8 to 9 students are alive. A second student, this time from room 111, calls 911. But she hangs up after another student tells her to. The suspect opened fires again and is believed to be near the door. Law enforcement began to move down the hallway. The student inside room 111 calls back and she is told to stay on the line and be quiet. She whispers he shot through the door. The student in room 111 tells 911 to please send police now and that she could hear police next door. Keys to the locked classroom are obtained from a janitor and the door is breached. Police at this point go in and kill the gunman. Officers begin moving children out of rooms 111 and 112. From the time the first 911 call was made until the time the gunman was shot, an hour and 20 minutes had gone by. DPS Director Steve McCraw saying today that UCISD Police Chief Pete Arredondo made the call to change it from active shooter situation into a barricaded person. That is what prevented officers from entering and waiting around for resources.
Of course it was not the right decision. It was a wrong decision, period.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
In the days following the mass shooting in Uvalde, there are now signs of a bipartisan effort for gun control legislation on Capitol Hill. A group of Democrats and Republicans now working to try and find common ground on gun legislation. It's been close to 3 decades without any action on gun control. Leading the bipartisan efforts, Texas Senator John Cornyn and Democratic Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut. His home state suffered the Sandy Hook Elementary massacre 10 years ago.
I'm actually interested in what we can do to make the terrible events that occurred in Uvalde less likely in the future.
We have a number of areas that we think we can make progress on. Background checks, red flag laws.
Meanwhile, the House Oversight Committee is now demanding information from gun makers. The committee wanting to know more about marketing and sales of AR-15 style assault rifles.
In the meantime, a San Antonio ISD elementary school and a local business finding a way to reach out and help fellow students at Robb Elementary. This morning, students at Briscoe Elementary School started collecting plush toys for students affected by the tragedy. Their goal? to collect at least one plush toy for every student at Robb Elementary. As the school year comes to a close, one Briscoe fourth grader is hoping that this gesture brings a smile to other students' faces.
I know Briscoe Bears can't reverse time, but Briscoe will help in a different way. We'll send those stuffed animals to the students in Uvalde, not just for safety and comfort, but for love.
So sweet. The school partnered with Gold Coffee Shop to make all of this happen.
By the way, Briscoe Elementary named after former Texas Governor Dolph Briscoe, who's from Uvalde. If you're still looking for ideas on how to help the people affected by this, there are ways. Right now on KSAT.com, we have a list of ways to help. An account to help the victims has been set up through the First State Bank of Uvalde. HEB, as well as Catholic Charities, providing assistance to families. If you would like to help, just find this story on our website, KSAT.com.
Taking a look outside with your traffic authority. This is Loop 410 at McCullough, right around North Star Mall. You can see everything seems to be moving just fine at this hour.
Yeah, nothing but sunshine and heat out there today. 99 Del Rio, Eagle Pass at 97, 98 currently in Schertz, and even Santa Maria at 98. I mean, you get the idea. Temperatures well into the 90s. Feels like summer outside again. We did have a stretch of days here over the weekend and earlier this week of below average temperatures, but that stretch has come to an end. This evening, clear sky, warm, and you'll notice the humidity as well, and it's only going to be increasing overnight. 85 by 10 o'clock, midnight right around 80 degrees. We definitely have some summer-like heat this upcoming weekend. Tell you how hot it's going to get and give you even the bay and beach forecast if you're headed out of town. Coming up, Steve.
Thank you, Adam. A man in custody now following an hours-long standoff early this morning on the city's south side. That standoff began around 3 this morning in the 8800 block of Topsy Street. That's near Pleasanton Road. San Antonio police say the 43-year-old suspect living in a shed in the backyard of the house. He broke into the home where 3 people were living. Chief William McManus says officers got the people out of the home, but as they were inside, the suspect shot at officers. The officers returned fire, hitting him in the leg twice. That suspect actually came out of the house around 7 a.m. as SWAT teams were preparing to enter.
We're probably pretty lucky here, because if he had intended to do anything to the individuals who lived in the house, he could have very easily done that.
The chief says the other people inside were not involved. He also said he doesn't know the relationship between them and the suspect.
Still to come on the news at 5, hearing loss prevention. There are billions of people living with hearing loss, and the number is expected to grow by 2030 by a lot. Coming up, the simple changes you can make to reduce your risk. You're watching the news at 5. We'll be right back.
And coming up tonight at 6, we dive into what exactly is standard protocol for police responding to active shooters, how training and lack of readily available equipment may have led to a delay of more than an hour at Robb Elementary in Uvalde. Plus, caught on video yesterday morning. Now the sheriff's office says 3 members of this car burglary crew caught and in handcuffs, too. We're going to tell you how they caught them coming up on the news at 6.
New at 5, whether it's playing in a college band, cranking up the headphones too loud, or using power tools without proper ear protection. The older you get, the more likely you'll be experiencing hearing loss. The good news is there are some steps you can take right now to preserve the hearing that you already have. 12 Undersized Marilyn Moritz explains how to do it.
Chris Martin, will.i.am, and The Who's Pete Townsend are just some of the many musicians suffering from hearing damage after years of exposure to loud music. But you don't have to be a rock star to lose your hearing. Everyone is vulnerable, and audiologists say it's important to understand the causes.
Hearing isn't damaged just by a high-level sound. It's damaged by high-level sound over a period of time.
Like some things we do over and over. For example, just 15 minutes at one loud football game may cause hearing damage. So can just 5 minutes of very loud TV or music turned all the way up on your iPhone with standard earbuds. So if you attend games and concerts often or crank up your iPhone volume daily, your risk for hearing loss increases. Consumer Reports says one trick is to minimize the intensity of noises around you. Use noise-canceling headphones that shut out background clamor so you can keep volume at a low level. If you operate power tools regularly, wear earplugs.
I have to speak really, really loudly to be heard by somebody next to me. Have to use hearing protection in those instances.
And did you know many TVs have an automatic turn-down function during commercials and loud action-packed sequences? Typically found in the assistive features in your TV sound settings, they may be called auto volume or dynamic range protection. If you think you may have hearing loss, consider getting tested. The earlier you get hearing help, the better. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Take a look at live cam, 96 degrees. A lot of people already starting their holiday weekend.
Yeah, where are the best places to go to beat the heat, Adam?
Oh man, pools, go to the river, go to lakes, try to stay cool, or some of the splash pads around town. Temperatures through this upcoming holiday weekend, it's going to be well into the 90s. I mean, we're talking 98 tomorrow, 98 on Sunday. Then we get into Memorial Day and about 95 degrees at that point. So above average for this time of year, but as you can see, not exactly record-breaking or even record-challenging. And of course, we could use some rainfall. Take a look at this graphic. This is the percent of normal precipitation over the past 30 days. So most of the area shown here, Bexar County, surrounding counties as well. We've seen about 1/3 to maybe 1/2 of the normal precipitation over the past 30 days. And it's important to note that May really is one of our rainiest months, and usually we pick up some pretty good rainfall. But so far this month, 0.86 inches. That's it. That's about 3 inches below average for month-to-date rainfall. Year-to-date, we've had about 4.5 inches. That's almost 8 inches below average. Still stage 2 watering, by the way. Patchy fair weather cumulus clouds out there. That's it. They're not the type of clouds that really make rain. The rain-making clouds are all over the higher elevations and mountains of Mexico. You get the terrain circulations, and they can cause some updrafts and kick up some showers and thunderstorms. And that's what we're seeing, but none of that activity is going to make its way across the Rio Grande and into our area. Here's our overall weather pattern, and there's some action out there. It's just not here. We have it on the East Coast, even some severe weather in parts of the Mid-Atlantic. This is part of the same system that gave us our rain late Tuesday night. Another system moving into the Pacific Northwest that has a lot of moisture with it, and it's going to carry a lot of it onshore and even inland into the Northland, but not where we are. We have our familiar foe in place right now. Upper level high, big blue H. That's going to be influencing our weather through this upcoming weekend and even into next week as well. So let's talk temperatures. So far today, 96 the high. I do anticipate that to maybe change by 6 o'clock. We'll have an update then. But the average high is 89. The record today, 100, and that was set back in 2011. Morning low of 72 degrees earlier today. So the morning temperatures are back up again after a few cooler mornings. Across the state, really not a whole lot of triple digits, but we're close. I mean, El Paso 102. Meanwhile, 97 Del Rio and Junction, Laredo at 98 degrees. 100 in Cotulla, Eagle Pass 99. So some locations right there near the triple digits, even Pleasanton and Kennedy at 99. But you look around the metro area, even Bulverde 94, Port SA on the west side 97, Bandera 95. Dew points, they're not exactly oppressive, but they're not in the pleasant category. They're just there's a hint of mugginess out there this afternoon, but it's not as bad as it could be. These dew points will be on the way up the rest of this evening and tonight, and we'll start the day tomorrow. Sticky and humid, some brief morning clouds at 73 degrees. By the noon hour, nothing but sunshine, 88, and then a high of 98 degrees with a south-southeasterly wind at 10 to 15, gusting up to about 20-25 miles per hour. You look elsewhere across our area, closer to the Rio Grande, we're going to get into the 100s. Del Rio, 103, even Carrizo Springs, Eagle Pass, about 101 tomorrow afternoon. Leon Springs, 96, Lavernia, 98, and Castroville at 98 degrees. The rest of the weekend, similar temperatures, 98 on Sunday and 95 on Monday. There will be a little bit of relief from the wind, though. Gusts up to 30 miles per hour, both Sunday and Monday, so that will at least provide a hint of relief. Now, if you're headed to the bay and beaches, it's going to be windy, so expect a chop on the bay waters and seas of about 3 to 5 feet on the beach side with a lot of sunshine. And sunshine's really the rule through the next 7 days with highs in the 90s.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
All right. The Warriors await their opponent.
Yeah,
Greg.
they're back, and they won the West last night. They wait to see who wins the East. When we come back, more about that big finish, and also what a celebration for Klay Thompson after what he's been through over the last 2 seasons. And Reagan advances in the high school baseball playoffs coming up.
Oh, yeah. I dreamt about this like every day.
All right, the Golden State Warriors have won the West, are returning to the NBA Finals, and no one is happier than Klay Thompson, returned his ACL in one knee and his Achilles tendon in his other leg, missing 2 seasons to get back in big board sports. Golden State Warriors are back and will play the winner between Boston and Miami in the 2022 NBA Finals, starting live here on KSAT 12 on Thursday. That's after the Warriors were able to beat the Mavs in Game 5 last night in San Francisco to win the West, 4-1, after having to return from 2 separate surgeries. Thompson was finally able to come back this January and scored 32 points against the Mavs in Game 5 to announce his return. Warriors were up by 17 at halftime, never really looked back, leading to their 6th NBA Finals in their last 8 seasons, 120-110 for Klay Thompson. Very emotional moment.
Just such a surreal feeling. It's hard to put into words, really. You know, this time last year, I was just starting to jog again and get up and down the court. And now to be feeling like myself, feeling explosive, feeling sure in my movements, I'm just grateful. And that kind of came, all those emotions just kind of rushed through me.
By the way, Klay's teammate Steph Curry was awarded the inaugural Western Conference Finals MVP award, named after Lakers great and Hall of Famer Magic Johnson. He averaged 24 points, 7.5 assists to go along with his 6.5 rebounds, all shooting almost 44% from three-point range. Now the Warriors wait to see who wins tonight in the NBA Finals between Boston and Miami in Game 6.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Colin Kaepernick's workout with Las Vegas Raiders went well, but according to ESPN, there is no imminent deal for the 34-year-old quarterback. Kaepernick's truly first shot at getting back in the NFL after not being able to play in the league since he began kneeling during the national anthem in 2016 to protest racial injustice. The Reagan Rattlers have advanced to the Class 6A Region 4 Finals after coming from behind to defeat Eagle Pass 8-7 in a 1-game playoff. The game started. There you see Colin Kaepernick right there working out. Now, he did that with the Las Vegas Raiders, if you remember, and a chance to try and get back to the playing field in the NFL. But right now, no deal is imminent. The game started with the ejection in the first inning after catcher Andrew Ernest collided with the Eagles' first baseman. That video obviously is not available. I can tell you, Reagan did win 8-7. They had now advanced to the Region 4 Finals. So, close game. Yeah, very close game, and they had to come from behind in order to win.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
You got it.
We'll be right back.
All right, here's your KSAT 12-hour forecast tomorrow as you get the Memorial Day weekend started. Early risers, you'll be greeted by some morning clouds, but very briefly. 73 at 7 a.m. By the noon hour, we're talking 88 degrees and a high temperature of about 98 by 4 and 5 p.m. A south-southeasterly wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour, so a bit of a breeze, but you'll notice the wind more by Sunday and even on into Memorial Day. Nothing but sunshine.
All right, thank you, Adam. Coming up tonight on the Night Beat at 10, I just got done taking a tour behind the scenes with some of the members of the trauma unit that treated some of these littlest survivors from Uvalde. They gave me a close-up view of exactly what they went through. They are heroes. They share their story tonight on the Night Beat. And we'll have a snippet of that coming up at 6.
Definitely heroes. Thanks so much for watching the news at 5.